Hello, everyone, and welcome in. It's time once again for the Behind the Bench Coaches Show, except there's no coach, there's no bench. I gave Boomer the night off. And, all right, so what we're going to do, we have two of the three goaltenders. It's the goaltender show tonight. The third one is making himself a hot chocolate. Up there he is. All right, he's back. Guys, what I'm going to do, because normally it's not hard for the fans to figure out who's talking. It's either Boomer or the player guest for that week. But what I'm going to have you all do is introduce yourselves in your own voice, just so if no one's ever heard you talk. Three goalies in the studio with me tonight, so let's start right here. Go ahead.
You want my name here?
Yeah, say hi. My name is...
Hi, my name is Talor Joseph.
Okay.
Hi, my name is William Lavalliere.
Hi, my name's Breandan Colgan.
Okay, so now that we know what everybody sounds like when they're talking, hopefully we'll put names to eardrums here, and we're going to keep that up throughout the night. Also, so this is all the goaltenders tonight. We're all talking some shop. If you have a kid who's playing goalie or is learning goalie, if you have questions about being a goaltender, if it's just something you've wondered about or you want to get questions into these guys, I'm opening up the text line tonight. Text your questions with your name to 844-987-4456. 844-987-4456. Yes, message and data rates apply, but you already knew that. So, all right, guys, we're going to start off here. Colgs, I'll start with you since I started with T-Joe on the introductions. But I want to ask you, what first got you playing goaltender? How did you end up in the net?
That was a long time ago. I started playing roller hockey, I think when I was 8. I started playing forward. I wasn't getting a lot of ice time, and I saw the goalie stayed in the game the whole time, so I ended up switching to goalie and kind of never went back.
I love it. That's a great story. Willie, how did you end up playing goalie?
I was a player until I would say 8 years old, 9 years old, and my uncle is Felix Potvin, so he's like,
Oh, okay.
so I kind of look up to him, and his son too, so I just give it a try, and I did like it, so that's my story right there.
My brother was the biggest Felix Potvin fan you ever met.
He was the cat. Right. He had the cat. Mask, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, my brother Greg he would go nuts. He'd love to meet you. He'd be thrilled. So, T-Joe, how'd you end up in net?
So I think I was 8 years old as well. It was around the time where players rotated in the net, and it was my turn. I think I let in 8 goals that game, but I loved it. And then no one else wanted to play goalie, so me and my best friend at the time, we'd rotate back and forth. And then the year after, we had to pick full time what we wanted to do, and I literally waited for him to make his decision for me to decide, and I picked goalie because he picked goalie, so that's how I became a goalie. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was indecisive, so.
Nice. So what is your friend doing now? Is he still a goalie?
He's a chiropractor, so he finished. So I'm not going to follow his footsteps there, but he finished playing university hockey. He was a goalie, did well, played junior as well, and he just finished completing his chiropractic schooling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. So I kind of want this to be an open forum for you guys tonight. Let's, Joe, talking about the position, talking about like our backgrounds and where we come from. I actually started playing goalie when I was about 6, and I was a very bad skater for half a year. I started playing when I was 5 into 6, and then the coach, like January of that season, goes, "Hey, I need someone to play goalie for me on the other rink. You want to try it?" And I did, and I stuck. So there you go. That's how that happened. But it's funny because back then, and this is the early 80s, the worst skaters were the goalies. And now I think you guys have to be the best skaters on the ice. Like, not even close. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the edge work. All goalies, we have to be so good on our edges. If you put us out skating, like, we all have really good edge work. So that's, definitely an important part.
And we all could play D and forward. I don't think, I mean, other than Shinks, no one on that team could play goalie probably.
Yeah.
Shinks is
maybe
good. Shinks is a good, Gilly too, but Shinks is a good goalie.
Has he put the pads on and gone out there?
Well, he plays online when we play NHL, but he'll mess around in practice. You can tell he knows what he's doing.
That's interesting. I'd love to see that out there. But have you guys done those practice days where you reverse out, you go out, play, and somebody else plays net?
Just last week we had like free ice, and I just decided to go like for 15 minutes just shooting pucks as a player, and I love doing that, you know.
I saw you working on the one-timer.
Yeah, that's
Who's the best puck handler / shooter? You guys compete over that? Who's the best, you think?
I think we're all pretty. We all like play a puck a lot. Maybe T-Joe, I would say, but
I don't know. I think all of us can.
a lot of it's
really
mental too. You can be a really good puck handler, but you can turn it over just like our D.
I've had one of those this year already too. So.
Yeah, that was early on.
I think it was
Blue
two in one game actually. I think I flying poke check didn't work out, and then the next one I think I tried to give it to our D, and then went to their player in the slot and empty net. So, but quick memory.
Yeah.
You got to forget quick, that's for sure. So, and I know, I mean, your uncle was quite the puck handler back in the day as well. And I mean, so obviously you're from the French Canadian side of things. You're going to have a little bit different experience than these guys. So growing up, I'm sure it helps to have an uncle that was in the National Hockey League. But I mean, how did you kind of proceed down that path as far as coaching and learning the position?
Actually, I got an older brother, about 30, and I'm 24, so I was going to see him a lot play, and he was the best friend of his goalies, so he came on the ice for a couple of practice with me and showed me how to do it. And my dad was a big part of it too. He's a player, but he looked up for me and went on internet, looked those little thing and teach me. So my dad, I think, was like the one that helped me a lot with asking questions to Felix, of course, that could give him advice and everything. So that's pretty much it.
So did that make you more of a butterfly guy right from the get-go?
Yeah, I think that's the first thing I learned. It's like a butterfly sliding side to side. That's what the first thing my dad showed me. So yeah, of course, Felix was like one of the first to do it, I think. So
yeah, he was certainly one of the most successful. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, Cole, what was it like coming from roller hockey to jump on ice skates? Like, what was that? What was that transition?
I couldn't even tell you. It was so long ago. I've gone back and played roller hockey now as a goalie, but like the edge work and like stopping's completely backwards. Like you can't slide. So I mean I couldn't go and play goalie in roller hockey now.
You probably break your ankle trying to do that stuff.
I'm sure it was pretty easy when you're 10 years old, 9 years old, switching just because you don't really know any, you're just trying new things, but
it's hard.
I don't know.
Though.
Yeah,
like I've done a
yeah.
bit. I play more player, but I did do goalie a bit. It's hard. Like you shuffles, you have to lift your feet up every shuffle. You can't just normal shuffle on the ice. You have to like lift your feet, and going down, obviously you can't slide, so you got to be very precise about when you do go down. Stuff like breakaways are hard because if a guy comes and dekes you, you really have to be patient because you can't. As soon as you bite, you can't really recover without hurting yourself. Yeah.
I did try last summer, but it wasn't roller hockey. It was deck hockey. I don't know. It's with a ball.
Where you're walking, you have your shoes on though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Shoes on. That was pretty
I haven't
hard
done that
too.
one.
Yeah, I was sick.
I always hate playing with the ball because the shot would start way out to your right and all of a sudden start curving back in towards the net. And
first couple of shots, I got scored.
That's what makes me want to play out in those kind of situations. So that's always a lot of fun. We're having a goalie show tonight. We've got the three tendies in here with us. If you want to text in any questions, feel free. 844-987-4456. Again, that's text line 844-987-4456, and we'll get some questions on here for the boys. But just kind of talking about, all right, let's talk about setups, because I know we're looking at some of the office earlier today. But I mean, when you guys are picking your pads out and all that, Willie, actually, I thought yours was pretty funny because I asked you how you ended up with purple pads.
Yeah. So it was during the summer. I had a big hole in my other pad I had before, so I just went to Bauer and they said I needed something quick, so that's the only pad they had like in the shop. So they should take it and go for it. I didn't know where I was gonna play, so I didn't really care about the color. I was like, free pad or free pad,
Yeah, that's very true, especially with what they run now.
Yeah.
So how do you guys pick your colors and your setups and all that? I mean, Cole, yours is pretty simple, right?
Yeah, I mean, I love like crazy colors. Like in college, I had the all purple pads. my first year pro, I had him for a little bit. I was in Watertown with blue, and the coach was like, "You got to get rid of him." So then I switched to black. I had the old flurry pads when he was in. I had the all yellows when I was younger. Those were sweet. But I mean, once you go pro, it's like a lot of times, especially my first year, you're switching teams 6 times. So I was like, white's pretty simple. We'll stick with that.
Yeah.
I think for me, I've kind of in same thing. University growing up, like university with the team for 4 years, and you get gear, and I'd always do pretty cool. I like more of a white based pad in general, just because it supposedly makes the goalie look bigger. I think it looks clean. For pro, I've gone white and navy. I don't like white and black. I don't know, looks too generic to me. So I've mixed up with a little bit of navy, and it kind of can pass for black, I guess. So that's kind of what I've gone every set of pads I've done in pro has been white and navy.
Interesting. That's
I like a bit of color in the pads, and I don't mind all white, but it's just they get dirt. Like Golks knows, they get dirt. They get dirty so quick, and cleaning them. If people like that, it takes some time. So I do a decent base in navy, so it looks just less to clean, I guess.
So I got a story for you guys. Aiden Hill, who's now in Las Vegas. He was in Arizona when I was there, and he was still a prospect, so he was down in Tucson in the American League. Wanted all black pads. They told him no. The goalie coaches told him no. He wanted all black pads. So 3 years into it, he spent the first 2 years in Tucson, and then the third year he actually got to Arizona and somehow snuck his order through for all black pads. And he was playing better. And so I have 2 things to say about that. Number one, I never minded black because I felt like it can hide the puck. But who cares what color you're wearing if you're successful in it? And number 2, if you like the way your gear looks and your setup looks, I feel like you're going to go out there more confident anyway. So, like, have you guys ever had anyone, and Cole, you sound like you might have, but told you, hey, you can't wear this color, or I don't want you wearing this, or something like that?
Well, yeah, that just went against the colors of the team, which I was like, if you pay for my pads, I'll get new pads. But I've heard, I think we've all heard about the white makes you look. I mean, I'm sure it does. You kind of can't see the net, but then again, if you're can't stop a beach ball and you're wearing white pads, it's not really going to do much. So I think like 99.9% is your skill.
Yeah, I know Lou Lamoriello in the Islanders. He doesn't let his goalies have color-based pads. Like most of them is white. You can have a little bit of color, but very minimal. I have some funny stories of a buddy that he's with in the system now, and like he had to wear socks. He had to like just very strict with certain things. But yeah, that's a place where like I've seen where coaches or GM were like, no color, and he had a crazy cool design with the kind of the Halak Tigers with his lost pads, a little bit more of his own with Bridgeport, a bit more of his own twist to it, and he got him in. He had to get rid of him. He wasn't allowed to keep him.
That's awful.
I never had that problem. The only guy that didn't let me wear like all black pad was my dad when I was young. But now it's my own decision. But yeah. I think I stick to it also that the white makes you bigger. I mean, at one point, you just have to stop the puck. You know?
No fun.
Yeah, it's more mental than anything.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's why I think if you feel good with whatever you're wearing, I don't care if it's bright orange and green, if you're stopping the puck, who am I to tell you? And it's just fun. It was funny because the example with Aiden Hill was that the year he did get his black pads, he got better and then got traded, and then ends up going on to win a Stanley Cup. So I mean, he's doing
Just
okay.
I didn't see much white on his Stanley Cup winning pads.
No, and that's and that's not who he is. Like that's not his thing. So
Even UC Saros, one of the best goalie in the league, I think.
And small too.
He's small, like he's smaller than one, I think. Yeah. And he's one of the best, and he's wearing all yellow pads. So.
And so to your, because you said you had the flurries, which were the banana yellows, just like Saros wears now, that bright yellow. I've heard people say, well, you shouldn't wear bright because it shows up. People can see it through a screen. They know where the goalie is, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know how many guys are stopping to analyze. Well, I see that bit of yellow through like 25 feet away, so I'm just not going to shoot it there. I mean, maybe subconsciously, but how much of a difference does that make?
I mean, the game's too fast. If there's a player in our league that's looking at the color through the screen, he should probably be in the NHL.
That's
I think that's just overthinking sometimes, you know.
100%.
Like you said, I think Saros has defied all the odds of being 5'8", bright yellow pads, and being one of the best goalies in the league. I don't think it matters too much. It's like you said, preference or mental preference, yeah.
All right, why don't we grab our first break here of the show? It is the Goalie Show. Send us your text questions to 844-987-4456. 844-987-4456. If you've got maybe a young son or daughter, niece, nephew, whoever's wanting to play the game, wanting to get into it, you have questions for these guys, want to talk about the gear, want to talk about the position, we're going to get into some of the stories coming up here, but stay tuned. It's the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. More coming your way. All right, we're back on the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. Tom Callahan here with you. It is the Goalie Show. All right, guys, we're going to go the opposite way around. Reintroduce yourselves.
Hi, Breandan Colgan.
Hi, William Lavalliere.
Taylor Joseph.
And the reason I'm doing that is so when they talk, you know who is talking. Because, as I say, there's very little guesswork when it's either boomer or player.
Pretty easy to recognize me with my
Well, yeah,
accent.
no, you're kind of a giveaway.
Willie?
Yeah, no, we know which one's Willie. Hey, so I have a question here, and I'm gonna reword this because I think I know what Jay is trying to ask. But you guys will see goaltenders pull the helmet off during play. You get hit in the helmet or something, like a strap pops or whatever, and it's kind of become the thing. Everybody does that. Is it always, do the straps pop that easily now on the masks? Is that what happens?
I'll go with mine. My buckles on my helmet, I need to get new ones for the past year, so they're like hanging on by a thread. So every time I get tapped, my buckles come off. But I don't know about you guys. It doesn't happen every shot.
No, more of a direct shot. If it clips it at the right spot, it'll pop off, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, straight one to the head, like right in the face. Yeah. It might pop off. Yeah.
I kind of like having the crappy buckles though, because then every time I get hit in the head, you get a free whistle. So it's like that's why I haven't gotten new buckles yet.
I always I think to myself, I'm like, oh, just get metal buckles on there. It'd be a lot easier. But I guess if you're trying to get a whistle,
I think it's been working for me. I like it.
It's scared. I'm scared to do that though, just because ref doesn't see it or a shot. Because it happened. You've had it. I think the last game where you got a shot and the whistle took a little bit of time. I'm like,
I had one last year in Motor City where the whole helmet came off and they let the play go on. The guy went for 1T and I went for it, and I go to the referee. I was like, dude, my helmet came off 5 seconds ago. He was like, yeah, I was letting the play out. I was like, you kidding me?
Yeah, no, that's
crazy.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Yeah, I only ever had that happen one time to me, and whistle didn't go right away.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of tweaked about it, but I spent the next, I don't know, it might have been 3 or 4 or 5 seconds. It felt like an hour with my glove right in front of my nose because I'm like, I am not taking one to the face. I'm not. I refuse to take one in the face. But, I mean, okay, there are other goalies, I think you kind of hinted at this, on other teams who might milk that a little bit to get their whistles quite often.
Who did we see that? There's a team we played recently that his bucket came off a few times. It's getting a little questionable. But
It happens a lot. It's the same thing with the nets.
yeah,
People
it was
shove
Mississippi,
nets
I
off.
think.
Yeah.
The guy was milking it a bit.
He's got unlucky. I played against him when I was in Baton Rouge, and I don't know what happened to his mask, but he got a shot straight to the face.
Is that Sheppy?
Huh?
Talking about Sheppy?
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
And his mic broke and something right into his head, and he was just coming back from an injury.
Yeah,
So I was like, oh my god.
He seems to get tagged a lot with injuries.
Did you guys ever have a blade come off during the game?
Blade? No, but I've seen it on social media. A ton of that's happening.
Hill just went through that, actually.
Yeah, and they don't blow the play dead for that either.
No.
There's one in World Juniors that happened. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
It happened to me back in junior.
Really?
How did you get out of that?
They blow it?
I don't know. I don't remember what happened, but I just went to the ref. I was laughing. I was like, hey, I don't have a blade anymore. And went to the trainer. We couldn't put it back on, so the other goalie had to go to the net. We went to the room. Took 5 minutes.
Yeah.
After I went back.
So I've never owned skates where the blades just come out. That's a relatively new invention. So to me, it's wild to see just boop boop change the blades. Okay, next one's sharp.
The Bauers are more likely to come off than. I don't know what you guys are wearing, but
I got Bauer.
yeah.
I have the True.
Can't switch now.
I haven't had it yet, but
It's my first year that I'm wearing True. Usually I had Bauer. But
Did you get the foot molding thing done?
yeah, everything's it's
phenomenal.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend because we don't have to like players say they're too heavy sometimes, but for a goalie, like it's like I think I used to use Bauer and it'd take me a month or two to break in my skates like where it didn't hurt. With these, out of the box, I could go in a game.
Yeah. It's my first time in my life that my feet doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
Like it's really like make a big difference. I think.
That's pretty good. They don't make Graph anymore, which is what I.
Graph was unbelievable.
I never
skates.
wear those ones.
The
They were
elf-
making
the
like
elephant
big
toes,
noise.
They had the big thing in the front. Yeah.
Oh, the cheaters edge.
No, like they had like the horn on top of the toe.
Oh yeah.
Like, those things were sweet.
Yeah. No,
They're comfy too.
I'm still hanging on to my last pair for dear life. There's no steel left in them at all, and I can't find steel for them.
You got to go to Canada for that.
I guess.
You'll find it.
Yeah, that's been pretty tough, but yeah, I've been trying to find something to keep those because I absolutely love those skates. They're like wearing slippers at this point; they almost tie themselves. So that's the best part. Tijo, I wanted to ask you because I know you've told the story on the air before, but folks maybe listening in for the first time maybe haven't heard it. You have a weird pad position where your feet are way more exposed, and I want to ask these guys about it after you tell the story. But why did you start wearing them that way?
So my 2 years ago, last year university, I ordered some Bauer pads and I felt they were a little bit too short. Some things with the pads I had to work out, but I started putting them on top of my skate, like tying the lace on top of the skate, so it just sit right on top, and it felt great. Was covering more area. It felt like kind of a shin pad too on my skates. It was easier to move. And then the next year I fixed the pad situation, added a ½ inch to the top, and then fixed some stuff internally in the pad to make it a little bit more of a seal on when I go down the butterfly. So they fit perfectly well. But then I tried putting them back on my skates for the first time, like normal, and I couldn't do like halfway through the practice. I had to go back and change it just because it felt like I was restricted to what I was used to with the other set. So that's the thing. I eat some shots to the toe sometimes, but I can't really go back to the way I used to wear them.
It worth the pain. It worth the pain to wear it on the top.
What's that?
Is it worth the pain?
Yeah.
Honestly, in practice, sometimes I'll just let it go by. It's not. Sometimes it happens accidentally, but games I haven't. Knock on wood, I've never had an issue with it.
There's got to be some around here somewhere.
Yeah, I never had an issue in a game with it. So
that's so. You couldn't get different pads from the factory?
They were custom pads, and both sets were custom, so I didn't want to go and complain the first time. And then the year after, I got a set from Bauer, and it's something I cannot attach it to my toe anymore for whatever reason. The feeling it feels way too. I feel way too restricted when I move, and
it's wild.
It's weird.
Used to. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It would take some time maybe to go back. I probably could if I had to, but I tried it for half a practice, and it was during pro camp. So I just said I'm gonna go back to what I'm used to, just to make sure that I was feeling comfortable.
I mean, and what did you think when you saw this guy basically wearing shin pads, Golks?
I saw it last year. When we were playing in bingo, and they were practicing. We were watching their practice, and I saw him like, what the heck is that? And then we talked about it when he got here, but I'd never seen anything like it.
Would you ever try something like that, see if the mobility worked for you, or you're just
I'm sure it would work for me, and I wouldn't go back to it, but again, my pads are when I get hit in the glove in practice, my hand's numbing, so I don't need any other things hitting me and getting hurt. So I don't want to try it.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
I got ripped apart for it, and after one of my first pro games, there were some photos that emerged online and got absolutely ripped apart by the fans. And I was told I need to get new skate. They thought I had player skates on for one, because the new goalie skates kind of look like player skates.
They do look like player skates now. Yeah.
Yeah, with there's no cowling on it, so I got ripped apart for it, and was told that the team has to buy me new gear immediately. And so, yeah, I know there's not much style points, but you got to do it. You got to do what feels good for you. So.
Okay, so I got to ask you then, no cowling on the skates because Colgs were talking about the big cowling that used to be on the graph. So is that kind of protection not there on the skates anymore?
I think my Bowers have them.
Yeah. So you don't have cowlings, I don't think.
I don't. I'm not a big goalie gear guy.
Yeah, that's
I'm trying, but
the big thing is they reinforce it enough to where they feel. Sorry, it doesn't matter if you they reinforce it so that there is a cowling, but without having it. If that makes sense. Yeah.
So it's still the protection is there.
The protection is there. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I would be concerned about, to be honest with you. I mean, more than anything else. That and keeping the puck out. So we're doing the goalie show. If you're just tuning in, we've got all 3 River Dragons goaltenders in-house with us. And Boomer's got the night off, and especially with you guys leaving tomorrow. So the setup this week is Wednesday, Thursday, Mississippi. Friday, we're back home against Carolina. So if you want to come down, it is adaptive night on a sensory adaptive night on Friday against Carolina. Same show, just a little quieter. And if you do have someone with disabilities or with sensory special needs, there will be a quiet room that is in the suites. If you want to bring someone to that quiet room, just go to the guest services table outside section 201. We will escort you in. It's in the suite level, and we're going to have all kinds of things to help out and try to bring some folks out who might not normally get to enjoy live sporting events. So I actually I'm in favor of it.
Yeah, it's good for people that have issues with hearing or the noise is an issue. I think it'll be a really good opportunity for them to be able to enjoy the game without having to deal with that.
Yeah. So we have the goal horn. I don't know if you guys know this up in the broadcast booth. Yeah. So the horn. Yeah. Well, you know that. Tijo actually got to hit the horn. Yeah, when he was up there the other day. But so now there's a trick to kind of feathering it so that it's not as loud, and it's just like a little of the goal horn on there. And so we're gonna have to try to make sure that we dial that back because it's an air compressor, right? It's either there or it's not.
Yeah.
So we're going to figure that one out. But the other thing that I thought was interesting, talking to Petro this morning, because I am all the way up there. I'm speaker level. It is deafening. It is so loud. As soon as the music starts, I have to put my headset on before a game. Apparently, to you guys, it's quiet on the ice. You don't really hear it that well?
I mean, I hear it in my sleep.
Yeah.
I had a span of a couple games where I didn't think it was going to stop, so I could definitely hear it. But yeah, it's not. I'm sure it's freaking loud out there or up there. But yeah.
Are you talking more music or the horn?
Music.
The music. I thought you were talking about the horn.
No. The horn is right over the "we defend twice" end. That's why you hear it.
Okay, that makes more sense.
It's right over basically your head for 2 periods.
Perfect.
So
perfect.
Yeah, the music is kind of quiet.
Is it?
Yeah.
Especially warm up, it's kind of faint. We can hear everything, but that's kind of normal for rinks. Usually on the ice, it's a little quieter than in the stands.
You need to get some downward facing speakers so it covers the ice for you guys. Yeah. So what are your warm up jams?
Not big music. I mean, I listen to country. I like Taylor Swift a lot. Before she seems like she's all over the internet now, but
original T Swift.
Yeah, original T Swift. Some country. That's about it for me.
Yeah, same for me. A lot of country and
T Swift.
Not a big. I don't listen to that. Not because I don't like her. I just have to give it a try. Never, but something that's calm me down. Some calm music, and 1 minute before I'm putting Metallica or something just to hype me up. And that's
Metallica's classic. I like that. For me, I think "I Could Be the One" of Avicii is one of my favorite songs that gets me going and warm up. So.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Did you say Avicii or the Bee Gees?
Either one. No,
okay.
It's Avicii.
Yeah,
Rest in peace.
Could be could be a mashup, the Aviciis.
Hey, I'd listen.
That'd be kind of wild.
Be a good mix, actually.
Disco dance mix, yeah. That it might make that. What's that really long mix they release every year? It's like an hour long.
Big booty mix.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That I haven't heard this year's yet. So
they've been going downhill. I think I like the older ones.
Music's not as good though anymore. I find
Okay, what makes you say that? Because I hear a lot of people saying that now. So what is it? What is it that you don't like now, or what changed?
That's
Avicii. It's like
Avicii.
Yeah.
I feel. I don't know. Even Music, obviously. I was born in the 90s, so I know 90s music. My parents used to listen to old music, like, well, sorry, Tom, not old, 60s, 70s, 80s music. Even when I was in high school, the music was decent, but now it's just...
too mainstream.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's, I think, the best way
Everything
to
was kind of different now. Everything kind of seems all
Everything's the same. Yeah.
So, Will,
Okay.
what do you listen to? Okay, so not pump up music, but what are you listening to away from the rink? Same stuff?
Away from the ring?
Yeah.
Most of it country. Yeah.
Well, you're in the right spot for that.
Yeah, that's right. More than in Montreal, I can tell you that.
I bet. So, all right.
When I'm listening to country in Montreal, they all look at me like, "Who's this guy?"
That's interesting. That's interesting. I guess I never thought of that. Because I know. Well, I mean, I guess it depends where you go in Canada, right? I mean, Calgary has to be one of the biggest.
Yeah, that's true.
Country towns I've ever been in my life, and
You
I
think so?
I've lived in Texas, and I've lived in the Southwest. I've lived in Nashville, Tennessee.
Really?
Calgary is a very country town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
Well, they have that big concert, right? Was it the Stampede?
Yeah, that's if anybody's ever...
I need to get down there.
Yeah, that's
there,
probably
I
the
guess.
best country.
And if you like rodeo too, I mean, that's an event.
My mom is going there this summer just for that, actually. In Montreal, we're trying. Like now, we have for like last 3 years, we had that country festival and everything. So yeah, I got to see Morgan Wallen this summer in Montreal. That was really nice. Yeah.
That's cool. Absolutely. So, what's favorite concerts, real quick, that you've ever been to, or if you got one or two or three, whatever?
I would ask between, I would say, Bon Jovi and Metallica. I saw those two, and
Metallica would be cool.
it's like, you know, every song, you know, it's so good. And of course, Morgan Wallen, I loved it, but Bon Jovi and Metallica, like, they're big from so long too. So
Yeah.
we used to listen to that when I was so young, so with my dad and everything. So
I haven't been to too many concerts. Luke Bryan was one of them. He was good, and then
yeah, I saw him too.
and then Switchfoot, which is like a Christian rock band. They were really good, and they have some classics that I think the one Spider-Man movie is one of their big ones. The original Spider-man movie.
I was gonna say, which Spider-Man we talking to?
Yeah,
37.
the real Peter Parker.
Nice. Colgs?
They have this one every year in Philly. It's 92.5 XTU's the country station there. They have it right on the water in not a great area, Camden, but they have like a venue right on the river there, and they have some really good names go there every year. So that's a good one. I went there probably in high school. It's been ages, but that was probably my favorite.
Festivals are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Music festivals are great because then you get to see a bunch of different acts. And
yeah.
the one, you know what I don't know. I think they do have it again. First time I lived in Georgia, going back a ways, but they had Music Midtown in Atlanta. And I mean, at the same festival, I got to see, like, it was all over the place. Black Eyed Peas, White Stripes, Alan Jackson, and Kid Rock were all at the same festival. Like, that's a crazy slice of music right there. But that was all at the same weekend festival. I wish they would still have something like that going on. Maybe they do. I don't know, but that'd be wild. I don't know. That's just me. I've been as many concerts as you haven't been to. I have been to.
Yeah.
I'm a crazy concert guy, so I always like to ask.
Did you go to Woodstock?
94 and 99. I was at both of them.
How was your experience with the one that was
94 was phenomenal. 99 was a train wreck.
Did you leave early or did you go through that?
So
like the craziness that happened.
Yes, I stayed until Sunday night, and actually, this is kind of a sad story.
He's the one that started
it. But this is like when I decided to leave on Sunday night. So the Red Hot Chili Peppers were playing, and that was when all the bonfires started. There were like 3 or 4 different bonfires going on. I'm like, okay, this is getting a little crazy. And I remember the Chili Peppers were covering "Fire" by Jimi Hendrix. And I happened to look up to my left, and there was this dude who had climbed one of the speaker towers, and he was up on top of the tower. He stands up, he gives it like the metal horns, and then dives into the fire burning in front of this speaker tower. And that's when I said, it's time to go.
Yeah, that's
a good wake-up call.
Yes. So I got in my car, and I drove as far as I could. At the time, I was living in New Hampshire. I drove to a rest stop a couple hours away on the New York State Thruway, and I pulled off and I slept for several hours, and then went back to my place and called my family, let them know I was alive. And yeah, it was.
Did you guys watch
bad.
On Netflix
the documentary on it?
Yeah, that's right.
I could watch it for 5 minutes before I got angry and had to shut it off.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't
Why?
watch it. Because I was there and I remember how they were extorting people for bottles of water.
Yeah,
and like it's just a money grab, and it still makes me mad all these years later. But '94 was awesome. It was so much fun.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but that's a good time for a break. Let's grab a break. All right, we have another 20 minutes to go in the goalie show here, so stick around. We actually have a lot of breaks to get to, so maybe we'll mash a few together. We're talking shop here with the boys. We'll be right back with more in a moment. And this is the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. All right, we are back on the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. We're doing the goalie show. No Boomer tonight, but 3 goaltenders in-house. So, all right, guys, we're going around the horn. Introduce yourselves again.
It's Talor Joseph.
William Lavalliere.
Breandan Colgan.
All right, and we're talking goaltender stuff. Your last chance to get questions in here, 844-987-4456. If you want to text something in, 844-987-4456. This is an interesting one that I wanted to ask you guys. So let's say somebody has again, son, daughter, niece, nephew, someone who wants to get into hockey. The kid wants to play goalie. The age-old debate. How long should they stay out, be a skater? When should they start playing goalie? Should they do both? What are your thoughts on all that?
Are we starting this one?
Yeah, you got it.
I do a lot of goalie coaching, and it's depends how long the kid's been playing hockey. Like, you want to, I think before anybody plays hockey, they should do power skating or learn to skate for at least a year. Just gives you confidence when you're on the ice as well. But I think the big thing is it's good to skate around, but even do both if you can, especially at the age of 7, 8, 9. Like, do both if you can, and then if you really have a passion for the sport and don't have interest for being a player, then yeah, get in the net. But it's so key at that age, at those young ages, to get, well, throughout all of it, is to have a goalie coach that you work with that can teach you things, because otherwise bad habits form, and it's very hard to break bad habits as a young goaltender. It takes a lot of time just because it is such a complex position. There's guys at this age now, like you can see guys that have played in the NHL for, let's say, 10, 15 years that, like, they have a tough time sometimes adapting to what's coming, right? So it's very important to have good goalie coaching throughout your whole career, essentially. We still all have goalie coaches, and I'm sure, and something that we work on as well.
Yeah, I think it could be different for every kid. Like, there's some that are born with talents, and it's just natural for them to skate. But I actually heard a story that one guy, when I was playing with him, first thing he did, it was figure skating. And, I mean, they have to be good on their edge and everything. And after, he was one of the best skater in our team, that's for sure. But I think it's good to play as a player a little bit, learn how to skate. I mean, I never heard anyone start with goalie right away. No. So, yeah, I would say it's good to be a player first, and after, it's for your parents, because it's kind of expensive to be a goalie.
Yeah.
So,
yes,
my dad wasn't too happy with that, but it is what it is.
Yep. Colgs?
Yeah, I got not a different approach, but obviously I would do whatever you're, like, having more fun with. If that's goalie. If it's player. I mean, try both and see which one you like more. I'm a goalie coach in the off season too. I have most of the goalies I train are between 12 and 20, I would say. The younger you go, the more it's like you can coach, but it's athleticism. It's trying to just, you kind of have to figure out how to stop the puck on your own. Like, for me, the biggest thing I tell younger kids is just play a million different sports. Like, I got burnt out when I was really young, because I started at like 13 and I was just playing hockey. I quit all the other sports, and then by the time I'm 17, I'm like, I don't even like hockey anymore. It took me a long time to, like, get back into it. So I think goalie coaching is good. but to an extent, you don't want to be 8 years old going to, like, practice is one thing, but going to a goalie coach at that young is kind of, I don't know, it could hurt more than help.
Yeah, I agree with you. At one point, I was just doing hockey, and I was like, God, like, I'm just sick of it.
Yeah, you get sick of it. You don't,
like,
you
when
wanna
you're
have
young,
fun.
you're doing it, but when you get older and you can make your own decision, you're like, I was like, oh my God. At one point, I think I was like 18, 19. I was like,
Yeah, that's the time.
Yeah.
You make a really good point though
Yeah.
with like playing other sports, is because you see a lot of guys that all they did was hockey, and they're just not athletes. Like, they're just hockey players. They can't. You give them a ball or anything, they can't play anything else. Like, it's so important to play different sports, and just because you work different muscles, it's good for cross training, I guess, in a sense, to just be an athlete in general.
Well, goalies have come, like, especially with goalies too, like, hockey in general is such a tough sport because you need to be, I think you have to be one of the biggest athletes out of any sports. I mean, obviously there's a lot of other ones, but like goalie, there's so many other things you have to perfect, and like the mental side of it too. So it's like, it doesn't hurt to be good at 5 different sports to be a goalie. So I definitely agree with that.
That's it's an interesting take, but it's kind of funny because I was just, even before this advice became a common thing. I mean, I grew up in an era when nobody specialized in anything. That just wasn't heard of. You know, what was cool was to be a 3-sport athlete. You know, oh, you can do 3 different things. Awesome, you're the man. You know, and it's interesting how the attitude has changed. Like, did you guys feel pressure to specialize at like when you were younger? Because I feel like that pressure is put on kids now. It's like, you need to have like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball when you're 12 years old, or you need to pick a position and stick with it. You need to learn how to do this or that. Did you guys feel that pressure?
I think, well, for me and Tijo, we're the same age. We're a year apart. I don't know what you think. I felt like it was kind of getting to that point when I was getting up, but it's nothing like it is now. Like, Willie, I don't know if you can touch on that, but
I think, like, I don't know. I'm thinking about my dad. He was playing hockey, baseball, and basketball at the same time, like, representing his school. But when I was, like, getting older, like, you didn't really like it if I was going to ski. You know, it's a big thing back home. I was playing soccer for my high school also, but it's all about, like, you was more scared I'd get injured doing something else than hockey, and after you're like, but I mean, at one point, it's part of life. If you get injured and doing something else, it's like, it can happen to everyone, you know. You're not gonna, oh, no, I don't want to be injured, so I won't go ski, I won't play soccer, I won't do anything else than hockey and training, you know.
But you can still get hurt playing hockey.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah,
it's,
true. I know that.
just minimizing the chance. But I don't know. I think you should do whatever you want until, if you want to play soccer, go play soccer. And like, because when I was really younger, during the summer I was playing soccer, and during winter I was playing hockey, and I was playing also soccer inside my house, my high school. But when you get older, you're like, you don't want to. I don't want you to get injured. You don't want you to do that. And like, hey, I want to live my life too, you know?
Yeah. That's
I think so. For when me and, like Cole said, we're the same age roughly, and it was, you played hockey and then you played lacrosse or soccer, basketball, and stuff. Like, you didn't touch your bag until a summer one goalie clinic I went to at the end of summer, but to get prepared for tryouts. I have 2 brothers. One's Willie's age, and then one that's a 2003 birth year, so he's 21 now. But like, spring hockey was just kind of coming into which I hate. I hate spring hockey. I think it's a waste of money, and I think it's just like, kids get burnt at 9 years old. You shouldn't be playing 150 games in a year.
that's nuts.
It's crazy, but that's
nuts.
what's happening,
Yeah,
and it's you need to be, like I said, be an athlete, play different sports, because at that age it's so important to be able to cross train and become an athlete. But I think as I've noticed when my middle brother, when Willie was Willie's age, when he was playing hockey at that age, spring hockey was big. Like, he played on spring teams because everybody's doing it. We're like, oh, okay, he has to do it. Yeah. So he was playing spring hockey, and then my youngest brother played in like a prestigious tournament at that age, which is called the Brick Tournament back home, which is again a waste of money, but like that's all they did, and he didn't really play much other sports, to be honest. Like, where I played a bunch, my middle brother kind of played other sports, and then my youngest brother, all he's ever really played is hockey. Made a little bit of handball in junior high, but like, and he's still an athlete, but I think it's important to play other sports for sure. So
I remember, I think I was like, I don't know if I was 13 or 14, but during one summer I was like training, like, I don't know, at the gym like 4 times a week, and on the ice maybe 5 during summer. And I remember going to my training camp and didn't even have like the fire in my eyes that you miss hockey, you want to play hockey. I was just tired, and it was just like another day for me. It was like nothing special, So I don't know. My goalie coach told me, like, you don't need to be on the ice that much. You just once a week during the summer, twice maybe, come to one goalie session, and the other go play like a game with your boys or whatever. But you need to rest. You need to want it when you go to the training camp. If you play hockey the whole summer, like, you're just gonna get sick of it, So that's more what I think. So now I'm just being careful during summer, like twice. Maybe it will happen 3 times a week, but other than that, like, you need to rest also. You're training, so.
I don't think I touched my bag till September this year. It was the best off season.
Yeah, I lost my gear like middle of August, and then I found it. I'll go to the gym 5-6 days a week, but I don't want to. I'll miss it in like July, but then force myself to be like, hey, like, you'll be burnt out by December if you don't take some time off. So I think we're all kind of in that same boat.
All right, guys, last question for you, and then I'm going to let you all go. But if you're going to give me a player you looked up to either then or now or whoever, like a favorite when you were a kid, just like who's your hockey idol growing up?
Do we have the same guy? We might. I got Carey Price. He's he's like he's an unbelievable athlete. He just, I don't know. He went through some hardships in the beginning of his career, and he had to overcome a lot. Even though he was like a high draft pick, he went through a lot of stuff to get to where he was, and he's still dealing with it now. But he's definitely my favorite all time.
Yeah, from Montreal, so yeah, Carey Price.
Nice.
Just being calm in his net, and like, I think I never see a goalie dominate like that.
No,
in my life, and I don't really think there will be someone better than that from my part of view, because I don't think he was playing he never had a really good team, and I think he got injured twice for 1 year, and we didn't make the playoffs. So I think he was a big part of his team, and his last year went to the Stanley Cup. In the playoff, I've never seen someone so good like that.
Yeah.
It was
The
crazy.
team had no business being
Oh
there.
yeah, we're not even a playoff, I think, and we're I don't know.
That's phenomenal.
Mine's Carey Price.
Yeah,
too.
no,
Like,
Wow,
I know.
all right,
and,
clean
no,
sweep.
wait,
Yeah.
and Henrik Lundqvist.
Yeah,
Hank was
good-looking guy.
stud.
Another guy who had to carry his team though too.
Yeah, and like Price was more just how calm, and he learned how to be calm and cool, because at the beginning of his career, like you guys said, he was kind of a little wild, but then he, like, to be able to flip a switch like that and just look like nothing phases him was awesome. Then Lundqvist, because similar size as me, tried to model my game, parts of what he did, and just the competitor he was like, I don't know if there's there's a lot of competitive goalies, but he's one of the most competitive goalies to definitely play the game. So.
All right, well, guys, it's been a fun show. The hour flew by. It was quick,
Absolutely.
but I appreciate you all coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, the goalie show comes to a close, and we appreciate everybody who chimed in and was a part of things here as well. But we're going to wrap things up here in just a moment. I'll come back to just talk about the games coming up here. But to the guys, thank you, and we'll be right back with more in just a moment. This is the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. All right, that's it. We are out the door, but thanks for the goalie show. Hey, Friday night, Carolina, next home game. We will see you then. Thanks for joining us. This has been the Behind the Bench Coaches Show.